We had a loaded show for AEW Dynamite going into tonight's show. On the lineup, we had Chris Jericho versus Orange Cassidy, Part 2, the rematch that everybody was talking about. We had the TNT Championship, Scorpio Sky challenging Cody for the TNT Championship. Tag team titles were on the line tonight as the Jurassic Express took on Kenny Omega and Adam Hangman Page, and we opened up with the Young Bucks versus the Dark Order, and we had Tag Team Appreciation Night. You guys want my thoughts on tonight's AEW Dynamite review? You found the right place, right here on the Big Fight Field channel. What is going on, everybody? This is Joseph Conlon, like I said, coming to you with your AEW Dynamite review, Wednesday, August 12th, 2020. Like I said just a minute ago, this was a loaded show tonight, a stacked show, and I thought this was it wasn't awesome, or it wasn't awesome like last week. I thought this was a very good show. Not everything was perfect, I'll point that out, but this was a very good show tonight by AEW. They're looking to go on the road to All Out, and I cannot wait for that in itself. But we got a lot to get to tonight. We got a lot to get to. So if you guys haven't already, before this, make sure you check out my Monday Night Raw review from this past Monday. But you can obviously check that out after this review tonight on the Big Fight Field channel for AEW. So without further ado, let's start the review for AEW, which opened up with the Young Bucks and the Dark Order. The Young Bucks were making their entrance, and they were attacked by John Silver, Alex Reynolds, and 5 Alan Angels on the stage. And then Evil Uno and Stu Grayson came out. They threw Nick Jackson into the ring. Matt Jackson was still laying on the stage, and that match got started right away. We had Uno and Grayson start to go after Nick Jackson. Matt Jackson came back into the ring. He hit a senton he hit a swanton or something like that onto the 3 Dark Order members. Grayson then hit a suicide dive onto Matt Jackson and threw Jackson back into the ring, and Evil Uno took care of Matt Jackson. After that, Grayson hit a drop kick, and then after moments later in the match, Matt Jackson got the hot tag. The Young Bucks were on fire. Then the Dark Order took over control, and they hit their combination. They have some very good combinations, and my favorite combination by them is when Evil Uno's at the corner of the ring, Stu Grayson's on the other side, on the top row. They have a name for this move. I don't remember what it is, but I love it. It's so crisp and smooth. It's just, it's brilliant. It's brilliant. So you got Evil Uno running to the other side, doing a cannonball, while Stu Grayson does a 360 in the air. They are very good. Like I said last week and the week before, they are an underrated tag team in AEW. They are something that you want to watch out for. But in the end, you got Grayson taking Matt Jackson, throwing him on the babyface side of the tunnel. And then we have Alan Angels, Silver, and Reynolds standing on the stage to block Matt Jackson. So it's just Nick. Dark Order go for their finisher. Nick reverses, rolls up Stu Grayson, I believe it was, and Nick Jackson gets the win for the Young Bucks. After the match, Dark Order try to attack Nick Jackson, and Nick Jackson runs away. good match to open up the show. Just great tag team wrestling by the Young Bucks. Dark Order are very underrated as a tag team. They are so good together. Evil Uno and Stu Grayson. And it makes me wonder if they should have won the tag team titles 2 weeks ago. Because after tonight, I have no idea what Omega and Page are doing at All Out. And we'll talk about it. That'll be a good talking point in this review about the tag team title scene going into All Out. But this was a good match to open up with the Young Bucks getting the victory. Then we had MJF come out. MJF had his crew. MJF was about to cut another presidential-esque promo for his candidacy for the AEW World Championship. He says Dictator John is not here tonight because he's not a leader. He's not a fighting champion. He's not the locker room leader that we all want in AEW. MJF will be here every single day doing the best he can for the title, and he promises you that. He then lays on the ground and he says, "Is this better for you, John? I'm laying here on the ground. You can come out." And he says, You're afraid of me. You're a coward. He knows MJF is better than him, and he knows it. And in the final 3 words he says is, "We deserve better." Then Moxley's music hit. MJF sends his crew out to block the entranceway out in the stands, because that's where usually Moxley comes from. So we got Wardlow on one side, Lee Johnson on the other side, and then other security, MJF security on the left. Moxley is shown walking backstage. Moxley walks through the tunnel. He blasts MJF onto the ropes. He attacks MJF, throws him onto the podium board, gives him a paradigm shift. He walks away. Moxley cuts a promo with Tony Khan sitting right beside Moxley. So we saw Tony Khan tonight on AEW Dynamite. It's good to see Tony Khan. And he said, MJF, I'm not getting a one-up from you yet. This is not a one-up. My one-up will be when I defeat you and keep the AEW World Championship at All Out. And now you have messed with me. This was really good. This was not better than MJF's promo he cut 2 weeks ago, but this was a really good segment. It sold the fact that MJF is now quote-unquote hurt because he was holding his neck and he was crying. So now I think they're going to make that into a storyline going into All Out, and that could lead to something good for MJF, and we'll have to see what happens. This is a good build for Moxley and MJF so far. People were actually Meltzer today on the Observer, Wrestling Observer, compared Moxley and MJF to Stone Cold Steve Austin and a heel Rock. And people gave criticized that, and I didn't understand why. Moxley kind of is our modern day Stone Cold Steve Austin. He acts like Stone Cold Steve Austin did back in the day. MJF is a cocky heel. The Rock was a cocky heel when he was a heel back in the day. I don't see a problem with this, yet people have a problem with it. Why? Because they hate AEW for absolutely no reason. I can't help that. I can't help that whatsoever. But I just wanted to point that out there to you guys. We had Cody defend the TNT Championship against Scorpio Sky with referee Mike Chioda. Yes, Mike Chioda, who was a 33-year referee in the WWE. He was released on Black Wednesday this past April, and it seems he is a part of AEW. That is a huge get for AEW, and I couldn't be any happier to see the best official in the game, Mike Chioda, in AEW. He looked great, and now that I bring up Mike Chioda, I want to bring up the fact that we had small bits of fans tonight at Dynamite. That was actually the first thing you seen, was fans wearing masks and holding up posters. And I thought the first thing I thought to my mind was, gee, I hope nobody shows Vince McMahon this. Because if somebody shows Vince McMahon this image of fans at Dynamite with masks on, he's going to flip out, and he's going to do everything he can in his power to have fans at SummerSlam. Watch. Once he finds out about this, he's going to try everything he can to have SummerSlam. And yet, it's going to be too little, too late, because SummerSlam is only like, what, 10 days away? 10 or something days away? So, that's not going to happen. Bad night for Vince McMahon so far, man. Fans at AEW and a former WWE referee who's been there for 33 years, Mike Chioda, shows up. And I kind of felt like, I don't know if it was just me, but he kind of took away from the spotlight of Cody and Scorpio Sky. Was this match good? Yes. The match was actually very good. Scorpio Sky, if you don't think he's a top 20 wrestler in AEW, I think you're an absolute moron. I really do. The man is great at what he does. This match was very good, but I felt like Mike Chioda was making his debut, and he's been in the WWE for 33 years. Him being there and being the referee of this match took away the spotlight of this match. It took away the importance of this match. That might just be me, but that's my opinion. He did not do that on the second match. He didn't take the spotlight away from Chris Jericho and Orange Cassidy. And we'll get to that when we talk about the main event. But this match was good, but I expected better. Am I disappointed about it? I'm going to say no. I'm going to say no just to be generous. But, I mean, Chioda did kind of take a spotlight away. But Cody hit a crossroads. Scorpio Sky kicked out. Scorpio Sky was going for TKO, and Cody reversed it into a crossroads, and Cody retained the TNT Championship. Then up on the Titantron, we see Mr. Brody Lee with John Silver and Alex Reynolds. He said, "You think you can just get one up on the Dark Order? Well, look what we did to your boys, Kenny Omega, Adam Hangman Page, and the Young Bucks last week. We're not done with the Elite. As far as I know, Cody, you're a part of the Elite." And Brody actually had the old TNT Championship. They showed the new TNT Championship tonight. That thing is gorgeous. That is a gorgeous title. Is it better than the World Championship? I don't think so. I don't think so. But it's probably the second best championship in AEW, and probably a top 5 championship in the world right now, design-wise. But Brody had the old TNT Championship, and he says, "You just don't get away with the Dark Order. You don't get one up on the Dark Order. We get our revenge. Next week, I take your brand new TNT Championship, and you can take the old one, and you can hang it up in your room. Tick-tock, Cody, I'm coming for the TNT Championship next Saturday, August 22nd. which I'll get to that in the end of the video, by the way, when we get to matches for that show. But I love this promo by Brody Lee. I loved it. He had such great intensity in this. He came off as legit. He came off credible. And I believe every word he said in that promo. And we are getting this match next Saturday. And I thought they were going to save this for All Out. I really did. But if Mr. Brody does not walk out as a TNT champion into next Saturday, I think that's a huge mistake by AEW. Huge. He is the guy. Mr. Brody Lee is the guy to take that championship off of Cody. I don't see anybody else. You had Scorpio Sky, but you had him do it. You had Cody go up against him tonight. But I mean, at the same time, it's kind of not Scorpio Sky's time right now. It's not. But it's Mr. Brody's time right now. And he needs to take the TNT Championship from Cody and get legitimacy in the Dark Order, in my opinion. So that should be a great match in itself, and I am going with Mr. Brody Lee to become the new TNT Champion. We had Kenny Omega and Adam Hangman Page defend their tag team titles against the Jurassic Express. This is my favorite match on the show. Nobody was talking about this match. This ended up being my favorite match on the show. This match was awesome. This was an awesome tag team match. From bell to the referee counting 1, 2, 3. This match was awesome. Everybody played a great role in this. Everybody brung it. Even Marco Stunt had a key role in this. He was great. Kenny Omega and Adam Hangman Page haven't had one bad title defense in AEW. That says a lot. They are definitely having the best reign in all of pro wrestling of 2020 so far, and nobody can tell me otherwise. They are outstanding tag team champions. As for Jurassic Express, listen, I love Jurassic Express. I love Jungle Boy. I love Luchasaurus. He is a mega star. Marco, he's cool. I wanted them to win tonight, but in a realistic standpoint, now is not their time, especially with this current storyline that Kenny and Hangman is in. Jurassic Express are not ready to be tag team champions, but I believe in 1 year or maybe even 2 years, their time will come and they will definitely be tag team champions in AEW. We just gotta be patient and we gotta be cool, calm, and collective with it. But we got some great offense here between Jungle Boy and Kenny Omega and Luchasaurus and Adam Hangman Page. After tonight, if we got a singles match between Kenny Omega and Jungle Boy, I would not mind that whatsoever. They had great chemistry in this match, and I feel like they could tear the house down if they had a singles match on Dynamite. That would be great. That would be great. But at the end, Jungle Boy goes to the top. Hangman reversed it. They set up a buckshot lariat to Jungle Boy. Hangman was holding down Luchasaurus, and Kenny Omega got the pin. Omega and Page retained the tag team titles. And they were in the next segment, which involved Tag Team Appreciation Night. We had a segment just based off of Tag Team Appreciation Night. We had FTR, Tully Blanchard and Arn Anderson, the Rock and Roll Express, and the Young Bucks, all in the same ring. That right there is an iconic moment. That right there was an iconic moment. Having those 4 tag teams in the same ring. First, we have the Young Bucks, who thank all the tag teams for showing up tonight for Tag Team Appreciation Night. AEW really appreciates tag team wrestling. It's great. We all know it's great. It's by far the best division in the world, and no one's going to tell me otherwise. Yes, it's better than the NXT Women's Division. Clowns. So, they talk about the Rock and Roll Express and how they were their childhood favorite tag team, and they still even use moves from Rock and Roll Express now. And they're idols to the Young Bucks, and they're, like I said, favorite tag team when they were little, and they're inspirational. Then Rock and Roll Express say they are the pinnacle of tag team wrestling. They carry tag team wrestling for 10 years. They've made it what it is to be today. It feels important because of them. And they are the greatest tag team in the world. Then Arn Anderson takes the microphone, and he says what the Young Bucks have done have been great for not just AEW, but for the world of professional wrestling. He said they've had some great accomplishments around the world, and they are undoubtedly one of the best tag teams of all time. But if you're talking about the best tag team in the world right now, you're talking to them. And he was pointing right to FTR. Then, Ricky Morton was about to get on the microphone. Tully Blanchard takes the microphone away from Ricky Morton. He says, Tom Brady's the best quarterback in the NFL. You know why? Because he has 6 rings. None of you are the best tag team in the world right now, because you don't have the tag team titles. FTR don't have the tag team titles, and the Young Bucks don't have the tag team titles. Then he turns over to Arn Anderson, and he says to Arn, me and you now have had beef for over a year. Ever since you spine busted my client in his match against Cody Rhodes last year at All Out. Then we slowly see Shawn Spears appearing through the curtain. He's walking slowly, very slowly. Arn Anderson leaves, and Tully smacks one of the Rock and Roll Express. Then they get a brawl. FTR and the Young Bucks are trying to break it up. Young Bucks go to separate Spears, Arn Anderson, who just walked away, and Tully Blanchard. They block them off. Rock and Roll Express are looking on. They get attacked by FTR. Dax Harwood and Cash Wheeler attacked the Rock and Roll Express. They gave Ricky Morton spike pile driver, and Ricky Morton sold the shit out of this spike pile driver. And then out comes Omega and Page, and FTR run out of the ring. And Hangman's like, what are you guys doing? And Omega wants to beat up FTR. That was the segment. Freaking fantastic segment. They had some great storytelling in that segment right there. And great booking decisions. I don't know if you guys noticed this, but I wrote this on my notes. Did you guys realize when Shawn Spears showed up, Shawn Spears let Arn Anderson walk right by him. Arn Anderson was going right to the back, and And Shawn Spears saw Arn, and he just let him walk. And then Arn knew what was happening. This was a setup. They didn't say it, but this was a setup by Arn Anderson. Tully was getting in a scuffle with the Rock and Roll Express. Shawn Spears was there to pull back Tully Blanchard. The Young Bucks were separating the Rock and Roll Express with Tully Blanchard and Shawn Spears. They set the Young Bucks up. Tully Blanchard, Arn Anderson, and FTR set up the Rock and Roll Express and the Young Bucks for this attack. This was brilliant booking by AEW. That is booking 101 right there, folks. Booking 101 by AEW. Now what happens? Now what happens with the tag team title scene? That's a great way for the Young Bucks to get a match with FTR at All Out. The Young Bucks want to get the revenge for what FTR did to the Rock and Roll Express. They take on FTR in a tag match. That's a great way to get the Young Bucks a match against FTR. But what do you do with the tag team champions? People are saying FTR and the Young Bucks have to be saved out until crowds come back. And people were pitching, well, how about we do FTR versus Omega and Page? How about we do a triple threat for the tag titles at All Out? And clearly, that's what I think is going to happen. They're going for a triple threat at All Out for the tag team titles. And I feel like I'm changing scenarios every single week. Last week, I thought it was going to be Omega and Page defending the titles against Brody Lee and Colt Cabana. I believe I said that on my review last week with James K. White. I believe I said that I thought that Brody Lee and Colt Cabana of the Dark Order were going to challenge Omega and Page for the tag team titles. Now, a week later, I'm saying we're getting a triple threat. This is great, unpredictable storytelling by AEW. Yet Seth Rollins goes out on Twitter and he says the fans are impatient and they are impatient for long-term storytelling. So you're telling me that I'm not enjoying this feud with Kenny Omega and Adam Hangman Page? You're telling me I'm not enjoying this slow turn heel since January, Mr. Rollins? I think you should shut up before you make yourself look like a bigger clown than you already are. This was fantastic. This was probably the best thing on the show tonight. Match-wise, it goes to Jurassic Express and Omega and Page for the tag team titles. The best thing on this show was this segment. Not even close. We had Hikaru Shida versus Monroe something. I was not sure of Shida's opponent's name, but she beat her very quickly. She beat her in about 2 minutes. And Tony Schiavone got in an interview with Shida. She was like, what's your plan for All Out on September 5th? She said, I'm still looking for challengers, so all challengers come, and that was it. People will complain about the AEW women's division, but I ask you this, if you're going to give criticism, this much criticism to the AEW women's division, why not give the same criticism to the NXT tag team division? I'm just putting it out there. I'm just putting it out there for you. We got match announcements for Saturday, August 22nd episode of Dynamite. Now, this is taking place on Saturday because next Wednesday, I believe there is NBA on TNT and the playoffs start, so they're not going to be able to run both AEW and NBA on the same network, so they're going with NBA for Wednesday night. I'm sure AEW had no problem with that, so TNT made the switch. So this time next Wednesday, I will be here on the Big Fight Field channel with my boy Austin, aka the Gamer's Goon, and we'll be reviewing NXT together next week. That'll be on Wednesday night. As far as Saturday goes, Saturday we got AEW Dynamite and NXT TakeOver 30. My plan, I will be watching the first hour of AEW, then right when it hits 6:50, 6:55, I'm sorry, I'm changing to the network and I'm putting on NXT TakeOver. I'm not missing NXT TakeOver 30, so I'm going to watch the first hour of Dynamite, then I'm going to turn on NXT TakeOver, then I'll probably watch the second hour either later in the night or the next morning when I wake up. But the card for that show looking pretty damn good, man. Looking like a great card. We got Private Party versus FTR. We got the finals of the Deadly Draw Women's Tag Team Tournament. We got Darby Allin in action. The Young Bucks and Kenny Omega versus 5 Allen Angels, John Silver and Alex Reynolds. We got an 8-man tag with the Lucha Brothers, the Butcher and the Blade, versus Jurassic Express and the Natural Nightmares. And then for the TNT Championship, we got Mr. Brody versus Cody, the TNT Championship. So looking like a great card next Saturday for Dynamite, but I'll only be watching the first hour live. Then I'm going on TakeOver. Are you guys ready? The moment we've all been waiting for, man. One of the most anticipated rematches in a very long time. Are you guys ready to talk about Orange Cassidy versus Chris Jericho, the rematch? I know I am. Let's get to it. Now, before I talk about the match, their first match was much better than this match. I was live on Twitter. Actually, when this match was happening, I was doing a live stream on Twitter reacting to this match. And I did not say it on the live stream, but this match wasn't bad. This match was very good, I'm not going to lie. This was a very good match. But their match at Fyter Fest was much better than this one. Again, this was a very good match, but that match at Fyter Fest was incredible. And this was probably not better than the first match. But this was still very good. We had a very aggressive Orange Cassidy to start the match. He went immediately after Jericho. Punches, elbows. He gave Jericho a drop kick. Jericho rolled out to the ring. He threw Jericho to the side wall on the stage. He threw Jericho onto the guardrail. And Cassidy stood in the ring. And then Jericho took advantage. We went to commercial. Jericho gave Cassidy a suplex. Cassidy hulking up. Gave Jericho a clothesline. Another clothesline. Goes to the top. Suicide splash or whatever. Jericho kicked out. Cassidy goes up to the top. Jericho catches him. Puts him in the walls of Jericho. That was beautiful. And by the way, Mike Chioda was the official of this match, and Jericho told him, they're going to call it right down the middle, right? When I give you a signal, you know what to do. I want you to keep that in mind. Keep that in mind, folks. So then Jericho gets the baseball bat. He gets the baseball bat, Kyoto's like, what are you doing? Jericho's like, you know what to do. You know what to do, Kyoto. Just turn around. Just turn around. Jericho's about to swing the baseball bat at Orange Cassidy. Kyoto takes the baseball bat. Jericho's like, what are you doing? What are you doing? Cassidy rolls him up. Jericho kicks out at 2. Cassidy, Superman punch. Jericho kicks out at 2. Jericho misses the Judas effect. Cassidy moves. I don't know what Cassidy did here, but he went for a surprise roll-up, and he got the win. Orange Cassidy defeated Chris Jericho to end Dynamite. And that was the way Dynamite went off the show. Orange Cassidy botched the roll-up a little bit, but he still got the win with it. They told a great story in the match. The match was very good. It was not better than their first match, but this was still a very good match, and I enjoyed myself watching this match. And we're probably going to get the third and final match at All Out with, I'm guessing it would have to be a stipulation in there. So that's the way Dynamite went off the air. And it was a very good episode of Dynamite, like I said in the beginning. And I want to thank you guys for watching this AEW review tonight. If you have not already, hit that subscribe button. We're getting 1 new subscriber today. We're at 176. We're on the road to 200 subscribers right here on the Big Fight Field channel. So if you have not already, subscribe to the channel. Every sub helps the channel. I want you to comment down below. What did you think about tonight's episode of AEW Dynamite? What did you think of Chris Jericho versus Orange Cassidy Part 2? Like this video if you enjoyed my AEW review tonight. Follow me on Twitter at Colin_Joseph. And I'll see you tomorrow morning for your NXT review right here on the Big Fight Field channel. It's actually going to be up really early tomorrow since I have a long day at work tomorrow. I have to go into work at 10 a.m. So I'm pretty sure the NXT review will be up probably around 9 a.m. for you guys on the channel. So that's that. Have a good night. Stay safe.